Welcome to Kranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Kranky, and this is the Kranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Kranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Kranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Kranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Hello, and Merry Christmas. Dr. Don, Jason Guna, chorus. I had zero plans to be on YouTube today. I was sitting there having some conversation and decided, you know what? Why don't I just go on YouTube, do a quick show my appreciation, and then go enjoy the rest of the day with my family. So, Dr. Don, Jason, Chorus, Alcova, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. Obviously, it's time for you and your family. First, I want to say this. As we gather through this festive season, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who've been part of the, I'm going to say Kranky Live mainly, but also part of the Balanced Views journey. This is a family-oriented platform where we talk about sports, but also talk quite a bit about social matters. I've intertwined, commingled, collated the social with the sports in 2025. Good morning, Drew Ross. We're going to bifurcate them and have them in their lanes. This year has been an incredible journey, filled with a lot of growth, a lot of learnings, and amazing moments that we have all sort of shared together. I think the Christmas season reminds us of a number of things. One is importance of love, gratitude, and togetherness. It's a time for you to sit down and reflect, to count your blessings, and to extend kindness and generosity to those who are around you. So, to my loyal subscribers and supporters, new viewers who join the program from day to day, and everyone who supported me throughout the year, it's a heartfelt thank you from this channel, or the channels, I should say, because I am promoting my Balanced View channel. Your encouragement, engagement, unwavering support is appreciated, and it inspires me to sort of work harder, create more, share more, and most importantly, to continue to grow, even though Jason would tell me I'm very seasoned, so how much more can I grow? So from my family to yours, I wish you all a very peaceful, enjoyable Christmas. May your holiday season be filled with laughter, love, warmth. And as we're coming up to 2025, and I cannot believe we're 25 years into the century, I wish that you have unlimited success in all your future endeavors. So thank you for being with us. Now, a couple more things on this journey. So I'm going to do a little bit of recap. But my recap show is going to be sometime between Boxing Day and New Year. I'm going to do a real recap show to talk about not just sports, but what has transpired during the year. And also to recap some of the things that happened on the channel. Good morning, Tripoli. Good morning, Woon. I retired this year in March from my corporate job. And I wanted to do something interesting and which I was passionate about. And I was on YouTube channels from a number of individuals throughout the last 4 or 5 years. It was almost like undercover type thing because I couldn't let my corporate job know I was doing this because they may not have been appreciative. And when you're an executive in corporate America, you have to be very, very careful about where you spend your time, what environment you're in, and how you're engaging. So I sort of did it on the more local, what I call Jamaica YouTube channels, because I figured not a lot of people would see it, to be honest. But I developed a sort of love and passion for it. And so I started my channel in June after much ribbing from people like Jason Gooner about me mentioning from maybe February or January, I'm going to start a channel. And they're like, where's the channel? Where's the channel? Where's the channel? But I'm always very focused on making sure when I go public with anything, I'm really prepared. I'm really organized. And I think one thing I learned from corporate is what I call what good looks like. What does excellent look like? And how do you really demonstrate and effectuate excellence in anything that you do? Which means if you're going to do something, you got to spend time and effort and put in the work. So, and by the way, I was very disappointed that I didn't get one of the most prepared nominee for the YouTube, because I spend a lot of time. So that means I need to work harder and prepare better, because it's not obvious to people. But it's all love. It's all love. But I want to make sure my show was as professional as possible. And I didn't have a lot of guests this year, a lot of panelists, and maybe I should consider not keeping the status quo going forward. You know what transpired at my award show. But it's been good engaging with people. I must give special thanks to Coach Minzy, actually, from Coach's Desk, who has been my sort of mentor in the YouTube space, because I'm very unfamiliar with the space. I was not knowledgeable about what it entailed to run a channel, what all the apparatus were, the tools were, and he's been a source of knowledge for me. And I appreciate his. So I have to give him special mention. I don't want to mention other individuals because I get in trouble when someone says, Kranky, what about me? And I'm like, oh, I forgot this name. All right. Triple E, Brown Beer, 1-1, thanks for being here. So it's really interesting. And thank you for that nomination, Triple E, but it probably wasn't enough given how many other people nominated others. But I do spend, look, I can tell you this. Before yesterday, I spent like 15-hour days trying to prepare information for the award show. And then I had spelling errors in it because I was doing it by myself and I was rushing, and I don't like to disappoint. I give her time and I don't deliver something, I get frustrated, right? But it's Christmas time. It's been an interesting journey with a lot of ups and downs, but that's life. And there's nothing like the journey. To me, the journey is probably the most important thing. It's about the journey, and it's about the experiences on the journey. And how those experiences inform you as a person, your development, your growth, your evolution. And obviously, hopefully, at the end of the day, you'll deliver and achieve your objective, and you deliver success, right? Or you achieve success. We are at 2354 subscribers on Kranky Live and about 180 plus and Balanced Views. I expect next year Balanced Views to explode, to be frank, given all the feedback I've gotten, including internally with family and friends saying, you got to do the other stuff. You're doing too much sports. But I still do the sports. But I will do a lot more in Balanced Views because there's so much happening in the world, so much with our people that needs to be discussed. I have a lot of ideas for the upcoming season. I am thinking about being much more expansive in terms of what I do and how I do it. And I won't say much more except by mid-year next year, it should be obvious in terms of direction of travel, what I'm doing. I'll be having a year in review before the end of this year. And if time permits, I'll redo a video of my award show because I spent too much time doing it not to deliver it. I took it down from YouTube, by the way. I didn't like how it went. I didn't like how it worked out. So I might probably redo it, but just do it as a video versus doing it as a live event. Right? Because I think that's probably the best way to go. I didn't plan to be here long this morning. It was mainly to come and say, I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love that I've gotten. I appreciate all the texts that I get. If you text me on my, what I call my YouTube phone, and I don't get back to you, it's not because I'm being rude or anything else. It's because this phone is normally in my, what I call my YouTube office. And I don't pick it up a ton when I come into the office, which is sometime every day. I may not necessarily look at all the messages, or I may forget to respond because as Jason's going to keep telling me, I'm seasoned and I have to always remember this. So, we get lapse in memories when we get seasoned. Kranky, maybe give us some teeny moments how to apply auditing in our daily lives. Yeah, I need to do that, Triple E. So here's my thing, Triple E. Someone mentioned, and this is a festive season, so I probably shouldn't even talk about this, but they mentioned that I I think I am better than the auditors from the FIFA and CONCACAF. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but they're being disrespectful when they say that to me. I won't spend a lot of time on that. They're being disrespectful. First of all, I would never be auditing an organization which has been charged with so much corruption, and I have not identified that corruption and escalated that corruption and report it. It ain't gonna happen. So when you do that to me, you're disrespecting me because I've been in that space. I've spent 30 something plus years doing audits, both public and private. I work for a big four accounting firm. I work for one of the best investment bank on the street. I work for the biggest asset manager on the street. So I think I have some idea about how this works. So when someone come and say these things to me, I don't want to be talking about my resume, but it's actually offensive to me. But I just say, you know what? We don't know what we don't know. So triply, in terms of auditing your life, I think I wouldn't even say even auditing your life. I would say we always have to think about how we continue our learning journey, how we make assessment of things around us and our people, how we think about what is it we're trying to achieve in life. You're a plumber, you're a carpenter, you repair air conditioning. How do I maximize potential? How do I become entrepreneurial versus working for someone in that space? You're a plumber, for example. If you're in New York, first thing you got to do is go get your license. Because when you get your license, you increase your earnings by double at a minimum in terms of what you can charge. Yeah, oh no, and I do work at those companies. Yeah. So it's not as if, but I don't like to talk about it. Oh, no, it should be trying to mention name because I try not to mention name. Oh, no. And I spent 10 years at Deloitte, by the way, just to mention name, just to figure out the names. And I worked at 2 more companies. But the point I'm trying to make is this, is that I've been in an environment where I know what good looks like. I've been in an environment which has been very, very challenging and difficult, and you get frustrated and you challenge yourself. But I've never felt out of place. Not that I'm brilliant or anything else, because 2 things. One is, I don't think anybody has a monopoly on intellect, any race, creed, or anything. We are all smart. The problem that is, some people don't spend the time doing the work or informing themselves to get to a certain level. Right? We take shortcuts. Want to be in a corner having fun. I fight. I have a nephew just come to live with me the last 4 or 5 months. It's a daily war to get him to study. The goal is, the agreement we have is this: I provide you all you need, but from Monday through Saturday, you study minimum 4 hours a day. You're coming from school at 3, you study from 4 to 8. I'm going to give you Sunday off because I'm generous. Because I know what it takes to be successful. When I worked in public accounting, I worked 15-hour days, sometime from March to the summer. And the last job I did when I was in public, so what I do, I work from May through August, 3 months straight, 15-hour days, 7 days a week. It was doing a World Cup. I forgot which World Cup it was. I took the TV to work, couldn't even watch the TV because I almost missed the entire World Cup, frankly. So I know how that takes, what hard work is. And this is not about me today. I'm just saying, you as an individual, do not settle in life for anything. Don't settle. Now you have to make sacrifices. People talk about Kobe Bryant a lot, right? There's a reason why they talk about Kobe Bryant a lot. Because you went up. Now, sometimes you have to determine whether or not you want to make those sacrifices because it's hard, right? It's hard. It's hard to not be around your family. It's hard to be working that long, especially if you have kids, because you have to have a balance. Because the kids ain't going to think about the work at some point. They're going to think about, was dad there or mom there, right? So you have to put in the work. Real baller, we're not talking about where I worked before real baller. We're skipping that. I don't know why. Oh, no, I didn't even mention that. Oh, no, you know I work for those companies. Oh, no, I don't even know how you know that. But I don't want to talk about my where I work for. Actually, that's the past. I'm talking about where we're going, and I'm not trying to lecture anyone, but I'm saying anything that you do, maximize your potential, and think about. And mentorship is an imperative. So if you're a senior person, mentor somebody. Because it'd be amazing how the mentorship works. You know, I have one of my nephews another one of my nephews who live with me. I was having a conversation with him yesterday. I promised I was only going to be 10 minutes, but this is longer. Because I don't like to do videos. I prefer to do live. And it was interesting. It was interesting for me to see, he's been living with me now since 2018, so that's 6 years. the journey, the evolution, the maturity, that gives me the biggest pleasure. I feel so good about that because I know where he's coming from and I know where he is, and I can prospectively think about where he's going and that evolution of the person. And he's always come to me for advice all the time. We have conversation. He wants to come talk to me. Some of my other nephews, they're afraid of me for some reason. I don't know why they get concerned and perturbed. They'll stay. One of my nephews, he stays in the basement. He don't even come be around me. The one that I told you need to study 4 hours a day, he try to stay as far away from possible. But I want him to learn to work hard, but just more importantly, to work smart. It's important to work hard, but you got to work smart. So if you're in a business, if you're running a restaurant, if you have a vocation that you have, no matter what the vocation is, where is it taking me? What can I do in that vocation? How will it help me progress? What do I have to do to evolve? What do I need to do to grow? Which is what I'm doing now about my YouTube channel. So this is just an inception point of my YouTube channel saying, trying to do something here. It's fun. It's a hobby. But you know what? At some point, I'm going to change the hobby to be something else. That's the goal. So I got to evolve. Ricardo, Merry Christmas. KJ Reed, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here. Look, you guys could be any place else. It's Christmas with your family. I appreciate you tuning in. This is not a long show because I want to go watch my Knicks at 12 o'clock. Playing because they're playing well. They're 19 and 10. But I just want to come on and say there is nothing like having support. It's like a drug. And you have to appreciate the support because people could be any place else doing something else, but they're supporting you. They want to hear from you. They want to engage with you. They want to communicate. They want to have dialogue and discussions. And it's truly, truly appreciated. At Kranky, watch him. Bless up, one of my big supporters, Drew Ross. Thanks for being here. Drew Ross is always here at some way, shape, or form. And yeah, so it's, my family probably thinking about, I cannot believe you're doing a YouTube show this morning. Like, really? Don't you do that all year? Don't you spend all this time locked up in this room? But I think it's important, right? And as you get more seasoned, I'm going to use the word seasoned more often, you realize that you have to have other life contributions apart from just going to work and doing X, Y, Z. You have your family, you have your relatives, you have to support them, you have to help them. And Owen missed something. He meant to say Knicks are good, so he doesn't know to spell R. He spells it N-U-H. Owen, you got to do better than that. It's come like how I spelled on my award show with some of those names that I messed up. Wun said, most of us have limiting beliefs often given us by our environment. Very few are able to see past the doorstep. One person can change a person's outlook so they can jump. I believe that. Look, I believe if you're in a position to effect change to help somebody, you should do so. Because I had this notion that when I retire, I was going to have a program whereby I would try to set up an organization where every person who have some kind of means or is very seasoned and senior would not adopt literally, but have responsibility for one kid who's from a disadvantaged background. They would mentor, nurture, guide, even sometimes contribute financially to that individual, right? It may be in your family, it may be a relative, but it's somebody. And the reason why that's important to me is because I know someone. When I was in public accounting at Deloitte, I knew someone. I'm going to mention her name. Sandra Ferguson. She was finding Ferguson Hunt then. Sandra Ferguson, who was at Deloitte with me. I remember I won't mention who she mentored. She mentored this one kid who came from a very challenging environment. And she mentored the kid as if it was her kid, right? She didn't have a kid then. And she was very young, by the way, at that time. And I saw the growth in the kid. I saw how she supported the kid in all aspects. And that kid now is a managing director in a company someplace, right? I won't say what the kid's name is. But that support, I believe, if she didn't provide that support, I doubt the kid would have gotten to where she got to. Helped her when she was young, helped her with school, had to think about college, when she was in college. That whole process of helping the person and the person evolving and the person maturing and the person ending up being very, very successful, I think that's very important, especially in our community, and we should think about that, right? We should think about that because we can help others around you. But look, as I said before, this is a short video. I appreciate you being here. Merry Christmas, Seymour Roberts. Thanks for joining. I want to say this, which is this: as we go into 25, because I said I'm going to do a year-end video, but I'm more, maybe it's a more comprehensive video versus a live. I prefer doing live, to be honest, versus videos. That's why you don't see me drop a lot of videos. Because to me, videos should take time to do. Live is easier to me. You can prepare for the live, but the video you got to cut and splice. And I'm struggling using iMovie. That's probably one of the reasons why I struggle to do videos, because every time I do iMovie video and I try to upload it, StreamYard rejects it. But no, it's important for us as a people. Bless up, Brando. Thanks for being here. As we go into 2025, that each of us take time to step back, reflect, assess what we do and how we're doing it. Is it working? Is it not working? What works? What should work? And I would say, though, to some individuals, which is, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to the JFF. Merry Christmas to all the YouTubers out there. Merry Christmas to all the commenters, all the supporters, all the fans of the Reggae Boys, all the personnel in the EPL, especially the Arsenal fans. Merry Christmas to all of you, and wishing everyone unlimited success as you go forward to 2025. And I think 25 is going to be, given what we see the change in the White House, going to be one of those years you have to hold onto your seat, because the ride is going to be bumpy and rocky. It may not even end well, frankly, given what I see coming down. It's a storm. It's not a storm, it's a hurricane. Or no, it's a tsunami, actually. It's not even a hurricane or a storm. Those are mild. It's going to be a tsunami in the U.S. In Jamaica, you're going to have election in 2025. That should be really, really interesting. And I'm going to do some shows that do some analogies between Jamaica and some other countries, because especially El Salvador and Singapore, I think those are good analogies to bring out there. What I would love from each of you, though, is that if you haven't subscribed to my Balanced View channel, to please do so. Even if you're not into social matters. I know some people just want to talk about sports and some just want to talk about Reggae Boys. I want you to subscribe to the channel, because I think it's important. And if you want to call in, because I'm going to do 10 more minutes to the show and give your Christmas greetings to anybody you want to, please do so, because YouTube is unlimited. It's global. So if you want to call in for a Christmas greeting and just do a quick thing, please, I'm going to put up the number, because I'm going to close it down soon, because people got to go back to their families and do what they're doing. It's not about Kranky Live Show. So if you want to call in for a second, give a Christmas greeting, and say bless up, please do so before I close this down, because all it's meant is to give thanks. Blessings 101. Thanks for being here. By the way, I just realized you had texted me yesterday 101. I'm getting seasoned 101, because I was actually available for a little bit. So blessings. Blessings, Claudine. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the Merry Christmas, Claudine. By the way, you didn't win the Kranky Beater award, by the way. I thought you would win hands down, but we appreciate you, Claudine, and thanks for being a supporter of the channel. So people, if you want to call in quick, say the number on the screen, just say Merry Christmas, please do so, because we only have limited time, because that's what my family is saying, let's go open those presents. I don't say, yeah, I'm looking to do a football quiz for the Christmas. Okay. When is the show? 101. When is the show? Is a football quiz about? By the way, people, Arsenal 101 is a channel based in the UK, so you can go over there, watch, subscribe, and actually, it's actually the first channel I've been on. Yeah, it was the first channel that I really knew about in this space that I've been on. From a local Jamaica perspective, was Minzy. But from just globally, it's 101 with Apollo and Tony and others. So bless up, Apollo. Thanks for being here. Jason said voted for Claudine. Yeah, but Football Guru, I think, won that. And by the way, people, I'm so mad. I had a picture of Football Guru. I have a picture of Football Guru, people. And I'm so mad. You know what? Let me see if we can't find it. I have a picture of Football Guru from my watch right now. And my watch show crashed. Let me see if we can't find the picture, people. My award show crashed, unfortunately, because of what, if you guys know what transpired, we won't get into the details. Let me see if I can find my picture of Football Guru, because I had it, and it was, I don't know if I can find it now. It's here someplace. I am going to try and find it. Winners category. I may not be able to find it. But I'm gonna look for it, because that picture of Football Guru is here someplace. And you guys will never believe that there's a picture out there of Football Guru, right? But there's a picture of him. And you know, when you want to find these things, you weren't prepared to do this. Oh yes, here it is. People, I had a picture of Football Guru. It's a classic. It's a classic, people. It's a classic. It's a classic. You know, he's right part of the JFF. So here is, so you guys can imagine what this picture looked like, right? So here's a picture of Football Guru, people. If you've never seen him before, here he is. Mr. We can put him up. Here's Football Guru, people. If you've never seen him before, here he is. This was his award. And why I wanted, he didn't want to share. So people, this is Football Guru. You see that? That's football. Best Kranky beater. See that? That's Football Guru, people. This was his award. See, he got his award because he doesn't show himself. You can't see the Kranky beater because my logo is covering it. But it's the best Kranky beater 2024 award. That's Football Guru. So you can take a picture of it. The new channel name is Balanced View. It's not even a new channel. It's been out there, but I just haven't. I should put up the link. I haven't really spent a lot of time on it. But that was Football Guru, people, and he was gonna get his present or his trophy. But obviously, I had to cut the show before I got there. Let me put up that information about, because not all the time I come here, I'm not always trying to promote the channel. Let me just find this. If I can find it, my link. But yeah, so I will at some point, if I have the time, because I'm not sure I will, try to go back to try to finish the award. Well, not even finish it, redo the entire thing from scratch, but it has to be a video. I'm not doing it live again. It was difficult doing it, so I'm not going to do it live. I'm trying to find something here which is not showing up. But yeah, so Football Guru is a beautiful picture. I'm sure he's going to love it, because he doesn't. I asked him to call in. He doesn't call in. He doesn't want to speak so anybody know who he is. So yeah, that's him. I'm gonna bring him. And make sure he get his prize and get his notoriety, because he deserves it. Because if you're gonna beat people, you should show your face, right? You should beat people on the cover. You should show your face. He doesn't show his face. Never shows his face. Beat me on the cover and then disappear. But this is not a beaten day. This is a celebration day. This is a festive day where we're trying to enjoy. No, can't do that now, Drew. No, Drew. I'm not prepared to do it. I have to dress the part in the Drew. I can't finish it now. I have to dress the part. I have to have the part, the music, the whole thing. And I didn't realize how difficult it was trying to play the music, drum roll, applause, while trying to pull up the pictures at the same time, make it flow seamlessly. It is much more difficult than I thought it was. I thought it'd be much easier than that. So when I do it in a video, I can always cut and slice the video if I don't like something in it. When you're live, it's like doing a play live. You make mistakes, you just keep moving, because you know you can't necessarily, unless the audience is familiar with what you're trying to say, then they probably only notice a mistake. But when you're doing an award show, those mistakes are very, very, very obvious, people. Very obvious. So yeah. Someone's asking for the links. Let me just drop the links for the subscription element of this. Merry Christmas, gaming. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. And been acting up of late. I don't know what's happening with StreamYard. Sometimes it kicks me out. I got to call them and find out or text them. I don't know what's happening. Sometimes it just kicks me out of the program. I was doing a show the other day and it just shut down on me. And I had to redo it and cancel what was done before. So the technical difficulty is not on my end because I haven't done anything for it to just crash like it is. Maybe I don't know if it's my computer. I don't think it is because this is what a 2023 computer, so it should be okay. User error. I don't know if it's user error. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I appreciate it. Nobody want to call in and say Merry Christmas to anybody? Boy, I might tell you. I don't want nobody to know something up on YouTube this morning. Because people may not in your family may not be happy with you, not giving them all your attention. All right, Claudine. So Claudine, you working today? Claudine, you say Uber is here? And Claudine, you working today? If you're working today, much bless up to those who are taking care of those who are sick. I think their efforts should never be to go unapplauded because I think it takes a lot to really ensure that people who are sick are recovering well and get the best treatment. Work never stops. I hear you, Claudine. I would agree with that. Well, Claudine, Merry Christmas to you. Hopefully they let you off soon from work. But me know you get paid double time in the Claudine. So as and jump on it. I don't overtime money that you disrespect Claudine man. A double time money, a triple time money. Christmas Day a different day, you know. Christmas Day is a one day. Christmas Day is a different day. At minimum double time. Bless up. Good morning. Who am I speaking to?
Kranky, you gotta save my number by now.
All right, fine, Dr. Dan. Let me do that right now.
Yeah, so
let me do that right now. You know what? Now that you keep going. I'm gonna do it right now.
Nah, I'm on the plantation myself right now, but
the plantation. What do you mean plantation? Yeah. You're making a ton of money. You call it plantation? So you're one of them rich slaves who like to complain. Yeah, you want to.
Well, actually, I was listening to what you're saying. You work 15 hours. That's something similar to what I do in a sense, but I mean, that's not a lot of money. If you do the math from work hours versus the amount of money you make.
Dr. Dan, I had to tell you this. What do you want to do the math by the hour, by the second, by the minute, by the day, by the weeks, month, a year? A lot of money. I don't care what you want to calculate. Now you may say, look, I work XYZ. So divide 20 hours into that. It's still, and person we could use 8 hours, it's still a lot of money. I know what doctors make in the US. Even the one who not good, me know them make the 3 inches. Trust me, doctors do well. They have a lot of bills.
I actually feel, to be honest, I actually feel like I get paid. I actually feel like I work more than I get paid, to be honest. Last week I worked 88 hours for 1 week.
88? Yeah. That's rough. Wait. I have a question for you though. Isn't that counterproductive? So why do I say that? So how can you be your best if you're gonna put in 88 hours? And somebody can say, Kranky, what are you talking about? You used to do 50 hours a day, but that was almost like normalized in environment operating. But I'm not taking care of people, right? I can mess up on the books and make an error and get away with it. But you're taking care of people. So how does that work? Don't you get tired, isn't it? Don't you have a point where it's diminishing returns?
Yeah, I do. I mean, to be honest with you, you already know my story. At times I wonder why I actually came into medicine because it's very tiring, It's like, because I work 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, and I get no rest. I don't get time to spend with my family. There's a dark side of medicine people don't talk to. Like, for instance, when I'm in the ICU, right? Because I have to rotate around the ICU, I have to tell people their family's dying. That's actually it's kind of difficult, you know what I mean? Because then I look at that aspect of it and I'm like, man, how most of them I see, I look at my mom, my dad, I'm like, man, one day I'm going to have to go through the same thing they go through. So it's kind of it's crazy. So yeah, I do believe diminishing return, but it's expected. It's a revolving door. In America, being a doctor, you're highly paid, but they expect a lot from you. That's why malpractice insurance is so expensive. It's just like a revolving door. You don't do it, someone else come and do it. So you have to do it.
Okay. Well, so wait, are you an intern now?
No.
You're not an
I'm
intern.
not.
You're a resident, aren't you? Because I know we
Yeah,
talked
I'm
to
a
you.
resident.
You're a resident, right? So
Yeah, but
so
I'm
I thought
almost.
resident didn't do that many hours. They sort of settle down and do less.
Well, it depends on what are you doing, right?
Okay.
So, but in general, residency all over America is pretty much the same because you expect to put in a certain amount of hours to be board qualified to sit and pass your board. So it's kind of like the same thing no matter what. Like dermatology is probably the best. All of them, dermatology is the best because that's why everybody wants to go there because you make about $500,000 a year and you work regular 9 to 5. You don't get weekends on. You never have emergency in a dermatology emergency. You never do that, right?
Right.
So that's why. But the demand and supply for that is very difficult because it's so many people applying. With only so many spots, so you have to be the best out of the best. So it's kind of difficult in terms of that.
So I have a question for you. You know what? No, I'm not asking a question. Here's what I do. In
Yeah.
2025, you got to come on my program. Give me your story.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about that, but yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Because
I
like
think it's important. I
I
think
don't
it's
have a
very
problem.
important, actually. Unbalanced view, by the way. But I didn't want to bring you on until balanced view got to a certain number, but people got to help me get to that number because I don't want to
Yeah,
do it on
I'm
both channels. So you know what? Maybe we'll do them both because you have come on this program, Cranky Live, the sports one. But I want to have a conversation with you about your story because I think it's an
yeah,
important story to communicate.
that's true. And I'm in Florida as well.
Yes.
Florida has so like I'm in Florida, right? That's one, two. It's a lot of retirement folks, and cardiology is the number one killer in the world, right?
Right.
So I see a lot of like I'm constantly being consulted and constantly doing all these things because so it's a lot of stuff like doing so it's really it's very interesting. I won't admit I won't lie, but it's a lot of work. There are times I'm like, man, why am I doing this? I have to wake up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I've been at work since 6 o'clock this morning. You know what I mean? I'm trying to hustle up out of here, but there's so many people that's like, coming, here and stuff like that. But it's a lot of work, especially, like I go to night shift in January or next week, and that's literally you know, from like 6 a.m. to about 7:30, and that depends on if you have a patient that's crashing, you can't leave the patient, right? So it stays. Sometimes I stay there for like 8 o'clock, and I sleep the whole day and go right back to work again. So I don't do anything because your body just takes
So
a long
people, when
time.
you work 88 hours in a week, and you probably
Yeah.
work, is it 7 days in a week, right? That you're
Yeah,
working versus 6 days.
I've worked more than that, but like last week was that.
Let's break the number of people. If you say work, how many hours in a week? 168, I think it is. 7 2 14, 7 4 28, 168. So if you take out 88 out of that, right? Then you have about what, 80 left? If you sleep 6 hours a day, 7, 6, 42, you only have 40 to do what? Like eat, shower, and do what? Nothing.
I've learned to survive. I've learned to survive on 6 hours. I've drink those seltzers like crazy. But I was flying to quick story before I let you go. I was flying to Cape Town, Kranky, and from nonstop from Orlando to Cape Town takes about it was about 14 and a half hours.
All right.
And I'm doing the math. I'm like, man, that's 2 days of sleeping for me because I
So I assume you sleep on planes because I don't sleep on planes. I
I
assume you sleep
mean,
on planes.
yeah, I do because I'm so tired. It's like that's 2 days of sleeping for me because like on a regular I get 5, 6 hours a day. Sometimes
Right.
I don't even sleep because just like you mentioned, you said something about your nephew. You said come home and read. So what I would do is imagine me get home and I'm tired. So I will like read for 30, 45 minutes because the problem is the bigger doctors, the attendings, they like to try to embarrass you, ask you these questions. So why is this patient has this heart attack? Why is this? Okay, what's this? So actually these esoteric stuff that maybe they did the research in 1960s or something like that. And you want to know that because they evaluate you. So what I have to do, it's constant learning of like, it's constant learning. So when I get home, I have to try to read. Sometimes I'm like, I can't read. I can't do this. I even watch my friends, it's like all over the place who like in tech. I'm like, man, why did I not? You know what I mean? So it's good. It feels good. But the problem I have though, Cranky, I don't see enough black people and there's not a lot of me in the space, which is kind of the issue.
Well, we're gonna have those discussions in 2025. In the whole STEM business, we gotta have those discussions because that's where the world is going. And we look like we're not going. We're going in the opposite direction. So those conversations need to be had. Great point you're making, which is you look around you. It's not new. On Wall Street is sort of similar in some respects the same way anyway. So Owen is saying people in hedge fund work 100. Yeah, but they get paid. Oh no, and hedge funds are different. They get paid. Doctors get paid, but hedge fund space is a different space. And by the way, people. So I have a question for you, Dr. Dan. It's an uncomfortable question.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of suicides in your profession? Because in the investment banking world, for example, where kids come out of college and they're working 90, 100-hour week, they have quite a bit of suicide sometimes.
Yes, there's a high suicide. There's this Haitian girl. She's about 23 years old. She was anesthesia resident. The last one, she was in New York. What's the hospital called? And it's up in the Bronx. I forgot the name of it. But I know her.
Montefiore? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
I know her personally because she went to school in GW and I went to school in Howard. So we're right like 5 minutes apart. So we would do like this medical thing. And nice girl, man. And she committed suicide because of the work the pay and all these things. And she committed suicide. 23-year-old Haitian girl. It was sad.
Whoa, 23.
Yeah. It's very high. There's a high suicidal rate in medicine. There's also another guy who was doing, I think, ophthalmology in the same Washington. He was doing his residency there in DC as well. He left a whole note and he committed suicide about that. But I have strong feeling about that, Kranky, to be honest with you, because I'm telling you, Kranky, without residents, the workforce is nothing. If you've been following lately, you see that a lot of residents are striking. So what that does is shut down the hospital because the attendants cannot cover all those patients by themselves. Right. I cover by myself on a daily basis about 20 patients by myself,
Okay.
And that's me coming in the morning, looking at them, all their medication, sending them a lot of things like, so it's quite tedious, to be honest with you. But at the same time, until something happened to a high ranking official, then there are going to be changes because you do work a lot, but they expect you to do that. Like I said, it's a revolving door. Every year, there's thousands of people applying to be a doctor because people from Jamaica, Africa, all over the places, they're eligible to come here. So if you don't mess up, then sure, we'll take them. So that's kind of what it is.
Well, you know what? We're going to talk about that too, because that's a problem for those places. So you have these countries which are poor, which are desperate for people with certain skills. And then the larger countries who can pay more, provide a better environment, pull all those people in. And then we hear Trump talking about immigration, but they take in people with specialized skill sets, which then have the brain drain for those countries. And they don't have the services, they don't have the personnel to support their population. It's a really interesting situation, actually.
Yes. So another point on that. So in my hospital, a lot of the nurses, we call them travel nurses, a lot of them exchange program. There's a lady I met recently, 2 of them from Jamaica, where they said there's a hiring agency that get them to come here and work for a couple months. Right. So I was like, I said, where you came from? She was like, I was working in Jamaica and they just came. I just applied and I came in and I'm here. So they are. But the problem is, though, Kranky, the problem is with the local. So if the nurses are getting paid properly, say for instance in Jamaica, they would need to get here. Like I was I'm not sure if I told you, but I was in Stanford. I was working in Stanford before I came to Florida. And a regular RN nurse starts at $200,000. Imagine you graduate from nursing school and start at $200K. Granted, there's other aspect that, taxes and all.
From nursing school, you start at $200K?
Yes, in Stanford. In my hospital when I was in Stanford, yeah.
Oh, so Stanford's a very rich town, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, that is true. You basically paid based on New York. They get paid fairly as well. It just depends on the taxes.
Yeah, but they're not starting at $200K.
I don't.
I know some people are nurses in New York who start out. It depends on what hospital you go to, anyway. But I don't think they get $200K. But yeah, they get paid. They get paid well. They get paid well.
So that's what I'm saying. So the aspect of it is that, like, if you offer your workers a certain amount of benefits and deals, then people will actually want to be there, right? Because imagine you come to here, the States, because I was talking to a lady, she was like, look, here, my money's coming in every 2 weeks on time. Elsewhere, she's like, nah, I have to wait a month and all that stuff, So all those things factor into the reason why people want to be, want to do things here.
Right.
So you're right. The brain drain is an aspect, but the onus is on the government or the healthcare there to change. Like it is here.
No, but here's the thing, Dr. Dan, people don't realize it will never change. You know why it won't change? And it's happening in the UK too, by the way. because there are people from, so the UK taking doctors from all over the world, right? Whether it's the Middle East or whatever it is, they take them in because they get paid. Well, it depends on where the Middle East you're talking about. But say, let's say North Africa, some area, from Egypt, for example, Morocco, other countries, right? They get qualifications, go to the UK. They work for the NHS. They don't make a ton of money, but they all have aspirations to come to the US. A lot of them, actually. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they come here and do really, really well, especially if they're really, really good, right? You look across the board. If you're in Jamaica, Jamaica can't compete. The average compensation in Jamaican is $12,000 a year. It's different here in the US. If you come here from Jamaica, for example, you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a doctor. Law is a little bit different. You can, when you get qualified, make 5, 6, 7 times your earnings. Some people in Jamaica, a doctor, will do really well if they have their own practice. But it's hard to compete. It's hard to compete. I know a lot of people from India who come here, for example, in the technology field. There is no comparison with what they make in India to what they make here. They come here, they're stars, they make a lot of money. They're in India, they do reasonably well given where they live, but the differential in compensation is great. So the industrialized countries can take all these skill sets into their country, deny the other countries what they call SO countries, what they are, but they take their best people. So those countries would always be, it's like you're taking all the best footballers out of Jamaica, for example, and you keep having to replenish them. You're never going to be as good as where they're going to. Never. It's the same concept. It's crazy. I know why it happens, and we all come to the US, the ones who migrate for, mainly for the old financial benefit it provides, because some people don't want to leave where they are. But it's difficult for those countries then to make progress when they're losing their best minds. It's difficult. But wait, 1 second. 1 second. I think I dropped you for a second. 1 second. Go ahead. Sorry. Dr. Don, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. No, so yeah, that is true, Kranky. But the issue is, like I mentioned, these are all valid points that you're making. But how does it change? Because remember, at the end of the day, we're people, we're folks who have bills, we have family we have to provide for. So the issue is we're going to want to go where our best, one, we're appreciated, and two, we're like compensated.
So here's my view
right?
on that. We'll talk about that in 2025. But here's my view on that. You change when you have the most important thing, and I've been thinking about this for a while. You need exceptional leadership and vision and strategy. Those who are leading you, right? You see a lot of times in history where it's not necessarily the tools that the person has, it's how great their mind is and how they get buying, how they influence, how charismatic they are to change direction of travel. You have to have exceptional leadership. Now, you can say, well, you can have all leadership you want, but I don't have the tools. When we have vision and leadership, you figure out how to get the tools. If you have the leadership, you have the tools. I'm telling you, Dr. Dan, when I do the show on Singapore versus Jamaica, you'll see what I'm talking about. You got to have exceptional leadership. You got to have exceptional leadership. We all talk about the tools and the money and the resources, but if you have poor leadership who are all selfish and then they're parochial and they're not patriotic because they don't know what patriotic means, then you end up where you end up.
But I think Jamaicans are extremely patriotic. I think we...
No. We're conflating patriotic. No. Here's the thing. Sometimes we conflate certain terms. Being a patriot means being unselfish. Doesn't mean I'm going to put stuff in my pocket. I could say I'm a patriot, I'm Jamaican, I read on my chest, but all I'm thinking about is me and what I can get out of it. And if there's a trickle-down effect, fine. When you're a true patriot, that means you come second to your country. Like Kennedy says, don't ask what you can do for you, actually do for your country. It's that concept, right?
Yeah, but Kranky, let's look at it this way, right? I actually think that we can say the same thing about here in the US. However, there's checks and balances here that people get caught easier, right? That's one. Two, if you look at the likes of Africa, right? Africa in general, they have several natural resources, correct?
Right.
And one can say there's people in there who are patriotic, who wants to do good, but you can't go there and do it because others will force you to do other things because people have secrets. I think the issue in Jamaica is people have secrets for each other. So it's like you might go in there and want to have good intentions, but you can't because your secrets will come out. I just think that they have it here too. I do think there's corruption here in the government everywhere here. It's just that there's checks and balance here. It's hard for you to get away with certain things.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, there's always exemptions. So there's an exemption in the US for one person going to do bad things and get away with it. But Dr. Don is right. In general, there are checks and balances. And if you're corrupt, if you do wrong things, you'll pay the penalty for it. You see what happened to Matt Gaetz more recently, even though I'm not sure what the Justice Department didn't prosecute him. They come up with all sort of excuse. You see what happened with Menendez in New Jersey. You see what happened with Adams in New York. Even the people who are in power, sometimes when they run afoul of the law, and these are alleged thing people, not saying people are corrupt, these are what they're alleged. Menendez isn't because he got convicted, but Adams is alleged. When they run afoul of the law, or alleged run afoul of the law, they go through a process, a judicial process, which may end up them going to jail or being or not being convicted, right? These things happen. In certain countries, it doesn't happen that way. The supporters of those individuals, and they do wrong, will do unimaginable things to you to even mention that, given the facts and circumstances, something may happen, right? Something may not have been done the right way. And as Dr. Don alluded to, you have cliques in countries. You say everyone have each other's secret. You can put it that way. There are cliques, and the cliques all look the other way when something goes awry. Somebody do something, they all make excuses for that person. They don't say, I'm telling you people, the Singapore, look, there's never a best type of government to use as a example for anything. But there are governments where you see the progress of the citizens in that country and how they get elevated and how they evolve and how they're doing versus the rest of the world. And you say, why can't we be like that? And I can't name any, I've said this before numerous times, I can't name any one black country that's doing exceptionally well on the entire planet. You can't point me to one and say that's an exceptional country, exceptionally well, hitting the ball off the cover. I can point to the country of persuasion. I can't point to any black country. And the future doesn't look that bright either. It doesn't look that bright. So those conversations need to be had, and I'll be having a ton of them in 2025. Ton of them, Dr. Don. So, Dr. Don, anybody want to say Merry Christmas before you leave?
Yeah. Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat. Yeah, Kranky, I really appreciate this, man. I like the balance. Like, I like to speak about sports. I actually like to speak about reality, right? Because the reason why, I mean, we're going to talk about this later. The reason why I went into medicine, Kranky, is because, and you already know, like I said, we already did it about my story a little bit.
Right.
Is that Kranky, I do think that society, things that I'm seeing going on right now is scary. Like, I saw they killed a TikTok recently in Jamaica. It's like this stuff is scary.
No, it's not one. It's more than one got killed. Live,
Yeah,
wait.
it's like,
while they're on live too. It's not the brazenness is off the chart, Dr. Don.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like the fact. Listen, sports and politics is two things that can heal the world and divide the world, right?
Yep.
But there's other things in between that, like social norms, social justice, and other things that needs to be changed. So I like the balanced aspect of it. Like, it's not like me. I don't eat chicken every day. I mean, I want to switch it up a little bit. So I actually really think this is a good thing. You know, you come up with different topics because like I said, I'm pretty much support all the YouTubers in the space, right? And I've listened to people calling in, and there's a lot of the callers are very interesting and very intelligent that can actually speak on other things despite what people think how you call names. So I think you be, coming up with these different topics. It's actually different anyways because you get different views from other people's mindset, right? Because like I said, I'm not in Jamaica. I only can read when I can. So people from different aspects that can bring different things to me, I come like, oh, and I do a little bit of research. So I actually think the balanced views are actually a good thing. I think you should definitely promote this for real.
Yeah, no, I'm doing more balanced views than Kranky Live next year. Definitely. I mean, there's so many things to talk about that are non-sport in general, even though I love sports, that we need to have a conversation about. And difficult conversation too. Like difficult conversation. So here's one conversation, people, as you guys should think about it going into the new year. Does Jamaica, I'm going to get killed for this. I don't really care. Does Jamaica Jamaica is one of the murder capitals of the world today. 50 per 100,000. Yesterday, the police, police killed 3 yesterday on an operation. You know, if police killed 3 people in the US, it's a big deal, people. And we have had this, especially the racial component of it. If a police go in and kill 3 people in Jamaica, it's almost like normalized. We're desensitized. You know why? There are a number of reasons for that. It ain't nobody supposedly important. They're supposedly criminal. The police are doing their job. We're fed up with all this nonsense. The people are black and poor, so who gives a damn? Right now, they may be criminals, and they may be whatever, and maybe, you know what? They have done really bad things. but we can't be indifferent to human life. And we become indifferent to it, especially when that human life doesn't reside in the environment that we operate in, and we believe they are XYZ. The reason I'm asking about this, the question I'm going to ask is this: does Jamaica, which is what is happening in Latin America now and in South America, need to employ or deploy what El Salvador has done? But here's the other question that comes to it: do we have people in the seats who are running the country who should be the one executing against this? Now, some of you don't like me talking about these topics, and you give me all this warning, but they have to be discussed, and it has to be assessed. Drastic times calls for drastic measures. And Jamaica and Trinidad, too, is just trying to chase Jamaica. Like, Jamaica, you can't leave me alone. We don't want you to go out there by yourself being the murder capital of the world. We want to join you. In the Caribbean, and St. Lucia also is like, oh, I'm a stepbrother. I'm going to run you down too. They're chasing to be how bad they are. You have to ask yourself, do drastic times call for draconian measures? Because you know what? El Salvador went from the murder capital of the world to what they say now, 2 per 100,000, which is 25 times less than Jamaica.
Yeah, but Kranky, you remember the whole human rights thing that went on about?
Dr. Dan, we'll talk about that. Because we understand. I am a big proponent of democracy. I mean, people should have their rights. But I'm telling you, Dr. Dan, there's a question you have to ask yourself. I'm telling you this again. When do we say, you know what? You have to sacrifice to achieve. Let me say that again, people. Because we keep saying this human rights component, but when your life is gone, you have no rights. And it's happening. Look at this lady, Gail, the reporter from the Gleaner, 70-something years old, how she got butchered the other day. This is normalized. 4 people get killed, 8 get killed, 3 get killed, 5. When is this going to stop? And also, those people who are importing the guns and those people at the wharf who are letting the guns in, they should get the same treatment as the criminals. Because they are criminals. They're ones helping to destroy the island. Decisions have to be made about how people do this, because it cannot be okay to have this continue. At some point, the people have to say, you know what? We'll sacrifice some liberties to achieve a goal which is going to make us all safer. Because here's the thing about safety. When safety is eroded, when safety is done, nothing really works. Economy is challenged. Investors don't want to come in. Schools don't work right. Culture change. The whole entire society breaks down when you have a lack of safety, when you have barbarism. So you have to ask yourself, which is, do I sacrifice some liberties? And for what period that is that permanent? To ensure I have a safe society which can function and the majority can do well. At some point, the question have to be asked, because this is not sustainable. Because the tourism that you leverage now, right, which generate most of the income for the society and your GDP, at some point, it may get affected. And what do? You see Mexico government come in and say she's going to maintain the status quo. Now she's bringing the military out. Because they're looking at El Salvador saying, okay, human rights group, you keep talking about all these things, but I don't hear you talking about all the murders we're having 24/7. People are afraid to do XYZ. And because the murders are perpetrated in certain neighborhoods, the elites don't necessarily feel the pressure as much. They may be concerned. It may affect them once in a while, but it's not normalizing their community. So they move ahead. So, yeah, my 2 cents on that, Dr. Dan. On Christmas Day, people, we come here to talk festive and happy, and here we diverted to Dr. Dan.
Listen. I'm telling you, this is actually helping the time go by fast, because I don't even want to be here. But when you can have a conversation, because I can't really have these kind of conversations with certain people, because certain people. Like, I mean, we don't have the same cultural mindset. We don't think alike. Like, Kranky, we are gonna have a conversation. If I told you, if you don't believe me, I've been racial profiled. I'm gonna give you one story before I go. I walk into a patient room, Kranky, and I introduced myself. I'm Doctor This, that. I showed the man my badge, and I said, "This man's like, I want my doctor." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Sir." It was like, "I went to school for this." I'm like, blah 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 blah, and it's like, "No, you're not my doctor." He thought I was like somebody I wasn't. So I got very agitated and got upset. And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I went to school for this." He was like, "I don't care. Who cares where you went to school? this is an old white man, right? I told you, Kranky, you have to be professional in all your works, right? Because you just can't do that. And this is just one of many stories I went through. I used to hear my friends say these things, Kranky, but now I miss Howard in the sense that everybody at Howard is black. I could go in there, music, could smell good cooking chicken, good food. I miss that. But it's something that, like you said, these are conversations that needs to be had. And I appreciate you doing all this stuff. Like I said, a change is good, and I'll definitely be here to support you. You know what I mean?
Dr. Dan, I appreciate you, sir. And we'll talk more about that, because the whole concept of people looking at you and don't realize that you may have certain skill sets and you've achieved certain things and you're qualified, because they look at your profile and they draw conclusions right away. That is disturbing. That's concerning. That should not be right. The hospital make decisions about who the doctors are. If they didn't think you're qualified, they wouldn't have hired you in the job, right? But it's not only Caucasians who may do this to blacks. Blacks do that to blacks too. You know why? Because one is, there's a lot of different reasons, but one is the media is also part of the reason why we have those situations. It's generational in nature. It could be cultural in some aspects, but the media also contributes to that bias. So we will not, I can tell you this, and this may gonna sound strange me saying this, and I'm gonna get beaten for this, especially by my associates who are Caucasian, but I'll tell you this. I focus on finding black doctors when I look for my doctor. You know why? Because first of all, regardless of may have their own prejudice, I know I can have a conversation with them, and it could be a difficult conversation. But I almost feel this almost sense of comfort that, you know what? They're going to treat me as a person and not as statistics. So therefore, when we talk and I can equate to them things which they may value, then they may give me more, because my health is an imperative and important. And I do that all the time. And my frustration is that you're saying I can't find the black doctors. I can't find the black doctors. But I will admit I look at their resume, but I can't find them. I don't know where they are. So as you're saying, when you go there and you're the only one, it's frustrating. I can't find them. So maybe somebody can help me find them sometime, because what I look for. It's the first thing I look for. Sounds sad, but I look for it.
Yo, Kranky, this is true. I was flying to California one time, and I did a layover in Arizona, and I had my shirt that says Howard Medical School. And the guy came up to me and said, I've been looking for a black doctor. I want somebody to talk to. But you know what, though, Kranky, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I work with my black people, it's different. I get a different feeling, because it's like I feel like I always feel comfortable talking to everybody else, but I feel different talking to them. Like, yo,
because they probably appreciate you. They probably appreciate you, and you're probably a rare gem. They don't see you that much. They don't see you like you that much wearing those coats. All right, and you can also equate to their circumstances a lot of time. Some other people can't. Yeah,
that is true. It's true, because they understand the struggle. Like I'll say usually when I sit down, I did get a chair, and I'm not gonna lie, I spend a little bit of extra time with them. Hopefully nobody down here listens to this, but I spend a little bit of extra time with them.
because you know what? There's a sense of, look, this is not about racism. People don't understand that. Because somebody has an affinity for you because culturally you connect or race-wise you connect, it doesn't mean that the person is anti-something, It's just natural human tendency. It's like when you go overseas and you're in an expat community, you feel a connection to the expat, even if they're different persuasion, versus the people who live in that country, because you may not be familiar with their norms and culture and all that. So it's natural human tendencies.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time with them, one, too, because I don't really see them that much. I can count on my hands how many of them I see this year, less than 10. Right. But, and it's like I see them as a family. Some of them like my mom age. I'm like, listen, think about it. It's like, I'm your dad. I'm your son. I'm telling you this, whatever. I'll take their phone and say, okay, here, I'm gonna put a reminder in here to make sure you take your medication. Make sure you call me if you need to call. It's like, so that's kind of something. But again, Kranky, these are conversations needs to be had. But I'm gonna let you go enjoy your Christmas with your family.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Everybody else in the chat, we're gonna catch up. Happy New Year. I'm around. I usually just at work and just listen on with my phone or whatever, because.
Well, I'm sorry you're working on Christmas Day. Some people have to work on Christmas Day. There are some professions where people have to work on Christmas Day, and taking care of people and their health, like you and Claudine are doing. You're appreciated, and we thank you.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about doctors, you have no regular schedule. The patient is your boss. If they're sick, you need to see them. That's all they always say. So.
Yep, and we appreciate that, sir. A very cherished and valued profession. Thanks, Dr. Don. Merry Christmas.
All right, you too.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna close the program down by saying, first of all, for those of you who took time out to join me today, and I noticed that a lot of you hit the like button because I appreciate that. I didn't plan to talk about that today. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. We're gonna have, like I said, I'm gonna do a couple shows before year end, especially a year end roundup. I have a lot on my mind to talk about, whether it's EPL, JFF, war in Ukraine, war in Middle East, climate change, guns in Jamaica, murders in Jamaica, killing in Jamaica, Jamaica political environment, lack of leadership in the Caribbean, or need to enhance leadership in the Caribbean. I have a lot of topics on my mind in one show to touch upon, which will inform the topics I will focus on in 2025. So thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed to Balanced View, people, please help me grow that channel. And please help me grow this both channels, Balanced View and Kranky Live, so you can reach as many people as possible. I expect my channels to grow quite a bit next year because I have a lot to talk about. If some of you are let me say this, people. So I'm going to bring Dr. Don on because he's in a very interesting background because he didn't start off in the medical profession. He started out on Wall Street, frankly, which is really interesting. Place I worked for a long time. But if you're a plumber and you're an expert and you want to talk about plumbing, you're invited to come talk on my show. If you fix air conditioning system, right, you want to talk about that, you want to come on my show, we can, on Balanced View, we can have the conversation because we want to give people as broad a perspective as possible on a lot of different topics as possible. If you're comfortable doing it, by the way, and inform them because no one discipline is a priority. The society cannot function with a lot of different disciplines. You're a plumber, you are a air conditioner repair person, you're a carpenter. If you're comfortable talking about it, you have been licensed, you want to have the conversation. You're in hedge fund, like Owen was, and Owen, you want to come on and talk about that discipline, we can have the conversation. You're an accountant, I have accounting friends, but somebody don't want to come on. I thought some people on Wall Street about coming on, they talk about the compliance department. I don't know what compliance is going to do. I'm concerned. Especially since they think I'm controversial sometimes talking about certain things. So people are when you're in Wall Street, I understand it. You got to get signed up from compliance to go in any program to go talk. Even though the senior people can go talk about what they want to talk about in different environment and even get themselves in trouble. But the more junior people who are probably doing well, and junior doesn't mean people are not MD, but if you run the company, you can do what you want. Like Elon Musk does, but I'm sure people in Tesla can do what he does, right? But I want to have conversation with regular people on my channel, not just people who are running things. People who are living day-to-day lives, are doing well, are making progress. We want to have the conversation to educate people about all different vocation, disciplines of life. So if you're a psychologist, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you want to have the conversation, we'll do a prelude first in terms of me engaging you and make sure that, you know what, you come on, we can talk about these things in an informed manner. But I welcome you to have the conversation on the Balanced View channel. And I welcome and I appreciate each of you for coming on. It's Christmas. Go enjoy the time with your family. Have fun. Appreciate you. And look forward to us engaging more in 2025. But before that happens, I will have a couple shows, closeout shows for the year. All right? Take care. Peace out. God bless. Kranky Life is the place to be now for the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Kranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Kranky Life, tell them. Kranky Life, heed them. Kranky Life, want them. Kranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Kranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Kranky Life, tell them. Kranky Life, heed them. Kranky Life, want them. Kranky Life. Kranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Kranky Life, get to know the name because Kranky analysis is never lame. Kranky Life, give me my Kranky Life. I want my Kranky Life. Must have my Kranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Kranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Kranky Life. Tell them, Kranky Life. Heed them, Kranky life. Want them. Kranky life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Kranky Live. Tune into Kranky Live. Like up Kranky Live. Subscribe to Kranky Live. Kranky Live coming to you on weekdays. Kranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Kranky will always bring the heat. Kranky Live. Me say fi tell them Kranky Live. Me say fi eat them Kranky Live. On them Kranky Live. Kranky Live will be around. Kranky Live is the best in town. Me say fi eat them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi eat them. Want them, eat them, want them. Kranky Live. Kranky Live. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Kranky Live. Kranky Live. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Kranky Live. Kranky Live. Kranky. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Eat, want, eat them.